All right. I'd like to welcome all of our great listeners back for the second episode of XBL Party USA. And look who we found. We drug somebody across the big Atlantic pond right from the UK. How you doing, Jenna?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. It's a bit early here, but I'm glad I could join you all.
No pain, no gain. All right. Well, before we get started, I would like to remind everybody to please like, share, and subscribe. We are a channel in its infant stages, and we're trying to get bigger so that we can bring you more. And I'll go around the table here for anybody who missed the first episode. John Blue, what you been playing, buddy?
Oh, hi. Thanks for having me back. Yeah, I've just been playing Guardians of the Galaxy and some Far Cry 6 right now. Guardians is just unbelievably good. That's
Nothing
awesome.
like Avengers, huh?
No, nothing close to it. Single player, cinematic, just awesome.
And then our next panelist, who could not make last week's show because of family issues, Ultimus Gaming. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what have you been playing?
Well, one, glad to be here. Sorry I couldn't be here last week. I'm glad to be here, though. I'm playing a lot of Forza Horizon, getting ready for Forza Horizon 5. Not too many days left before that launches. Really love Forza, and I cannot wait to jump into the next one.
You know, if I get my PC up fast enough, I'll be streaming that bitch tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, then I'll join you.
Yeah, that was really cool too, because if you Game Pass subscribers, we get the premium edition for less than half the cost. You can get the premium edition
Yeah,
for
that's what I
$44.
jumped on. You get like both expansions, VIP, car pack, all that stuff.
And I hear they're doing the same thing with Halo Infinite.
Oh, really?
They're going to have a premium edition for that, and it's going to be less than half the price, which is amazing.
I'm gonna have to jump on that day one for sure.
There's a little secret. We haven't had an official announcement yet, but we have spotted the collector's edition in the wild. We, however, have not had it officially confirmed yet.
All right, and then our next one, Power Man, you there?
I'm here. What's going on?
Oh, not much, brother. What have you been playing? What have you been up to?
Oh, I've just been spreading that Guardians of the Galaxy gospel. It's good to see online that everybody's, paying attention and loving that game and not letting, the stink of Avengers kind of push them away from it. So that's always good. But man, I just been on Guardians pretty hard trying to finish up before Forza. So let's go.
You got into a little war on Twitter, didn't you, when you decided you was going to post all that Microsoft and Sega stuff? What are you doing, man? Leave them alone.
Well, listen, man. I've never been accused of somebody who doesn't go out into the hornet's nest and kick it. I do enjoy a good online Twitter debate, even if it makes people mad. But it is what it is. I like to kill narratives, and these guys are really downplaying this stuff. And something very interesting happened. What was it? Was it yesterday? I don't know if we're gonna go fully into it, but the fruits of Sega's and Microsoft's partnership are already starting. So yes. To answer your question, I absolutely did. It was an interesting conversation.
All right. Well, not to waste any time, because I know they didn't come here to listen to us ramble on about our lives and our likes. Let's get into our first topic. So it's becoming very apparent that Playground Games and Microsoft have got one hell of a hit on their hands. I can't tell you the last time I saw a game review like this consistently. It's wow, a racing game at that. Oh, hold on, last Forza. No, seriously. It wow, it is. I was thinking that Flight Sim was going to be the crown on the Series X this year, but I was wrong. Wow, Forza Horizon 5, it looks amazing. I can't wait to play it tomorrow. The reviews are just crushing it. IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. IGN, them guys are they're the pickiest, and just nailed it. 10 out of 10. So, Jenna, what do you think about this masterpiece that's going to hit us in just a few days?
It looks incredible, doesn't it? It's I'm a huge fan of Forza Horizon 4, and I used to play the old Forza Motorsport games religiously, but since I've got into Horizon 4, my enjoyment of those track-based ones has kind of been killed. That's how good Forza Horizon 4 was. And this one just looks another level again. I can't wait to play it. I know we were talking just before the show started. I was debating whether to do the upgrade to get the early access, even though I'm away for half the period I would benefit from it. So I have to see when I get back on Monday, Tuesday, how I feel. But no, I can't wait to play it. The game looks insane. The reviews are glowing. They said about not just how good it looks, but how much fun it is to play, how good it sounds, which is really important with racing games. And yeah, it just looks incredible.
Yeah, I was seeing that in the reviews today. You can actually, as you change your tuning and your parts in the garage, rev the engine and actually tell the difference that tuning and part has made to your car. And that's amazing. I'm wow. I mean, that's more than usually. I just look at a bar and say, okay, well, my acceleration went up here, my top speed went up here, my handling's better here. But now it just sounds like a different beast altogether. Yeah, it's going to be great.
I'm the
John
same
Blue,
as you.
you look. Oh,
sorry, I was going to say I'm the same as you, but I think this is the only game I'm going to play where I might change my exhaust and it gives me, or a part of my car, and it gives me a 0.1 better advantage. But if it sounds awful, I might just stick with what I got. It's the only racing game I'll find myself going for the sound more than the performance due to this. So,
oh yeah, definitely. John Blue, are you looking forward to Forza Horizon 5?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is to me looking like might be game of the year. I know it's a racing game, but it is the highest rated game so far on Meta. So I kind of like to see that break the mold with the Game Awards. I think it should be nominated for Game of the Year myself. But yeah, it looks absolutely phenomenal. The ray tracing, all the different tracks, the cars, the details, just looks utterly phenomenal. And Playground Games is just killing it. I think they might be Xbox's best studio at this point.
It's funny you should mention ray tracing, John Blue. What we've seen so far doesn't have the ray tracing yet. It's not there at launch. What we've seen so far is without it.
Oh, really?
Oh,
see,
yes.
I kind of going in blind, right? Because I don't want to spoil myself. So I just been, not that I don't want to watch any reviews for it. I'm going to check those out after I start playing the game. But I just kind of want to. The last game that came out, I got spoiled on the showcases. So I don't want that to happen again. So that kind of just going in blind, right? But I'm super hyped to play it. Can't wait.
No.
And I also jumped on the Game Pass deal where you get early access.
Oh, yeah. That's just, wow. I mean, Game Pass just keeps giving and giving. I did actually buy the premium edition, the $100 edition. And then I got to looking around and I was listening to Wilmy Hood and the rest of them on Game Beyond the Box last night. And I thought, really? Oh, wow. So I canceled my $100 purchase and then I just paid $46.
Yeah. And then obviously the setting too of Mexico, I think they just killed it, right?
Well, I hope the music on the radio is not like the music has been on the radio in Far Cry 6 because it's been a letdown.
It is.
Yes, it's been a letdown in Far Cry 6.
Yeah. There are only about 2 songs on there.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to touch on
so good.
I want to touch on what the Jenna said about Forza Horizon 4, and I really think 4, they had completely different seasons, and that was new. But what 4 also did was they brought out the Eliminator, which was their take on the battle royale, and I cannot say it enough. I think that Playground Games, they nailed that. I must have played 1,000 matches of the Eliminator. It was so much fun running around, staying in the circle, finding new vehicles, and people rushing up beside you and, challenging you to a race. And that was just awesome. And I have gotten confirmation from my buddies that the Eliminator it is a staple in Forza Horizon 5. It's there, and I can't wait. That'd probably be the first thing I do is hop right into multiplayer after the intro race, to be honest with you. All right, well, enough of me rambling on. Ultimus Gaming. What are your thoughts, brother?
Well, I watched some gameplay on it, and I was just blown away with that 30 FPS graphics mode. That is absolutely stunning with the detail, the dirt effects, everything else. It is just absolutely stunning what they're doing with it.
Well, Digital Foundry, they actually touched on that in their tech review, and they said that Playground Games has got the frame pacing and the motion blur down so well that it's very hard to tell the difference between a 30 FPS and a 60 FPS mode.
And that's the amazing part. I remember they had touched on that. I don't remember every single thing from the video. I only watched it once. But yeah, they've blown me away. Playground Games is an amazing studio. They have blown me away time and time again with their Forza games, but this one tops it all. I cannot wait to jump in and explore Mexico. Everyone who's played it says they absolutely love it. So it's going to be a great experience. For those who have early access November 5th, and everyone when it launches on November 9th. Going to be absolutely amazing.
And Microsoft's got so much faith in this studio, they've been handed Fable.
One of my favorite series. I think it's funny. I still love Fable 3, the most hated one, and if the worst one is still beloved, then that just shows how great Fable was. And then we put it in the hands of Playground Games, an amazing developer. I can't wait.
All this talk about Playground Games, it's kind of making me wonder what's going on the other side of the coin with Turn 10. We've not seen a Forza Motorsport 8. We've not heard about a Forza Motorsport 8. I'm pretty sure that's probably going to be a next-gen only title at this rate. And I'm very interested to see. I think that'll be the first game, Motorsports 8, that will actually take full advantage natively of the Series X. I think that'll be you won't be able to play it on the One. It'll have to be on a Series console, and I can't wait to see what Turn 10's got for us. Power Man 4K, you looking forward to Forza, or are you not a racing fan?
No, I actually love the Forza series. Forza Horizon series is probably definitely in my tops of racing games. Playground is a pedigree developing studio at this point. They're thoroughbreds, man. They're just they crank it out. They're reliable. Everything they put out is solid and looks amazing. I mean, if you go back to even from Forza, the very first Forza Horizon all the way up, they've been very consistent, and each game they've gotten better and better and better. Which actually touched on a point I was going to mention, which is this only gives me more faith that they're going to take the Fable franchise, which I played on the original Xbox way back in 2004, and really set it off into another level of what we could think about as far as Western RPGs, right? They have the world building, they have the structure that goes along with building all of the worlds and the animations and everything. If Forza Horizon 5 is any indication of how Fable is going to come out, we should have no worries about the late future of Xbox.
Oh, no worries at all. Yeah, definite facts. At this point, the new studios, well, not the newer studios, like Oblivion or Obsidian. Sorry,
Yeah, Obsidian.
Obsidian, Playground Games, Undead Labs. I
Ninja
have
Theory.
I have complete and total faith that these games, these developers, you can hand them anything and they're going to knock it out of the park. So I'm going to hop on to my next topic. Power Man, I would like you to take the head on this one because you did start the war. Microsoft and Sega. So what exactly do we think this means? Or what will it mean, say, 10 to 12 months from now?
Well, the official statement from Sarah Bond and Sega is that, the nomenclature behind it is that they're using the Azure cloud to build games that may not be possible just under Sega, correct? So they're partnering together to help create these games. However, there were some people that were kind of taking that and saying, well, that just means that they're just going to use the Azure cloud, and that's going to be as far as it goes. However, just today, or I believe it was today, that they just announced that Total War Warhammer 3 is coming to Xbox Game Pass for PC day and date on that service. Now, if that's any indicator of the partnership that Sega is coming with, now mind you, Total War Warhammer 3, the Warhammer series of Total War is a very popular, very successful RTS franchise, right? It's not a, it's not a $20 game. It's not something that's just being whimsically thrown onto a service. Like, this is a big deal. It's a big game. It's coming to Xbox Game Pass for PC. People are going to be buying it on Steam as well, full price. So the allure of Game Pass for PC will just grow. I think that there's going to be more of these situations where we're going to see Sega and we're going to see Microsoft/Xbox teaming up to either bring things to their cloud services or bring things to their consoles. You know what I mean? And literally the day after, we already see the fruits of that labor. So Sarah Bond is clearly committed, and she's making a lot of moves behind the scenes from what I understand. And it's good to see, someone who's just as dedicated as Phil and Aaron and everybody else taking the helm and really pushing this partnership.
Oh yeah, Sarah Bond. For those of you that don't know, Sarah Bond is the director of studios that do things for Xbox but aren't quite first-party studios. And so, with Sega being an outside entity, that she would be a big part of that.
She's
hot too.
In charge of the content for Game Pass as well.
Yes, thank you, John. See, this is why I put you guys together as my panel. You all don't let me miss a beat. It's great. So does anybody else have anything to say about Microsoft and Sega? I mean, are we ever going to see like if he can jump high enough, Sonic giving Master Chief a high five?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty big deal, like potentially down the line, right? Like first thing I noticed was like everyone was trying to say that it's going to be like the Sony deal, and it's not, like it's just for like tech for the cloud, and it's got nothing to do with games and the usual stuff, right, from that crowd. But I don't know, if you looked a little deeper into it, you had like Sarah Bond's really involved with this deal. Like I said, she's the Game Pass content. She's in charge of that and all the other stuff with third party, right? So, I mean, there's probably a lot they can do with the IPs. They could probably bring, help both, be beneficial to each other, and maybe bring some older IPs back that Sega might want to do. Like, I was thinking about it. Maybe, what about a Crazy Taxi? What if they brought something like that back, right? Or even like a Jet Set Radio. Maybe they can kind of like spit that in like Sunset Overdrive type thing, right?
Oh, don't play with my emotions.
Yeah, there's a lot. They got so many IPs.
Jet Set was so good. I love Jet Set on the OG Xbox.
Yeah, yes. It was really ahead of its time, right? And even if you look back at the recent history, it's like Relic, which just did Age of Empires, and then Creative Assembly made Halo Wars 2 and worked on that game. Those are two Sega, studios right there, right? So yeah, it seems like going to be a close relationship. It's only going to be beneficial, I think, for Xbox down the line. And they've been talking a lot about bringing like E-rated games or maybe more family-friendly games. I think Sega would be, a real good opportunity maybe to bring something like, I don't know, maybe something, maybe even horror, even like a horror, like, if you're familiar with Condemned.
Yep.
You bring something like that back in there, right? They're kind of missing that horror genre. And
I wanted to add
I know
something to
there's
that
been a
point.
lot of. Sure.
No, I'm sorry, John, but I just want to add something to that point. Also, and I know this could be some speculation, but I know that we all like to speculate. If you want to think about, okay, we just acquired Bethesda, right? As a publisher, as a Umbrella Studios of all these different things. The very beginning of that started, and a lot of you guys are old enough to remember, was when the Elder Scrolls was exclusive to the Xbox platform. If you guys don't remember, reason why was because there wasn't enough RAM in the PlayStation to actually run the game properly. Technological partnerships lead to like full blown partnerships. You know what I mean? And to immediately say that this does not mean that a relationship couldn't be gathered and we could see Sega coming under the Xbox realm. I see that as very possible. Absolutely possible, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a real good point, actually. Because they had, like, back in the day, like, was it like Morrowind, I think, and Oblivion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, and they had double the RAM on the Xbox, so they weren't able. So they went exclusive on that side, and that is a lot of what and the deep development that Todd Howard did with the Xbox about having to completely shut down and reset the Xbox in order to load in certain areas and them learning the platform. This is stuff that Sega's going to learn. They're going to get hands on with a lot of tech and a lot of things that Microsoft and Xbox do. And this close relationship of working together develops relationships that turn into acquisitions. We've already seen it happen. At this point, once they got Bethesda, nothing's off the table, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to say, lastly, they could really maybe. I know a lot of Xbox guys have been asking for like more like exclusive JRPGs, like back in the day on 360 when you had like Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey. They could really do something with Lost Odyssey too. Like they could help Xbox with something like that, bring that back. That'd be a big win.
I'd love to see that come back.
Yeah,
it was one of the best I'm not really into JRPGs, but that game just captured me and pulled me in, and I couldn't stop playing it.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal story in that game.
So before I move on to the next panelist, I did want to touch on something that Powerman 4K said when everybody said, well, they just made a deal for the Azure servers. Well, you remember when Sony made a deal with Microsoft about use of the Azure servers, and that wasn't that big a deal. This, on the other hand, has spread like wildfire. Now, either it's a bigger deal than that Sony deal was, or deals with Xbox is just more popular than deals with Sony. Which one is it? I don't think it's the second one.
Yeah, that deal with Sony was like, it had nothing to do with Xbox, right? It was more of like a Microsoft thing.
Yeah.
The latest service. Yeah. The Sega deal is like they directly put Xbox in the tweet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that kind of alludes to maybe it's more than that, right?
I think one of the interesting things with this was as soon as it was announced, Sarah Bond was involved. Like you said, she brings games to Game Pass and sorts that content out. But Jez Corden, whilst everyone was saying, oh, it's just Microsoft, he put out a tweet saying, well, we have an article coming soon on Windows Central about this. This isn't just servers. This is new games, rebooting historic IPs and eventually exclusives. So he went more in detail saying this deal isn't just to let them use the servers, is to get more involved with games as well, which is really cool. And like you said, I'm not sure who pointed out, we've already got Total War being announced is going to Game Pass. What, within a week of this being announced, that's come out.
I want to see Microsoft coerce Sega into bringing back Altered Beast as a third person and not a side scroller.
With the Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah. And Golden Axe as a Souls-like. Get that going as well.
I forgot all about Golden Axe. How can I remember Altered Beast and not remember Golden Axe?
Yeah, there's a lot of IP. Alex the Kid's another one they could maybe bring back.
Yeah. I'd like to see Outrun on next gen. How good that could look when it's just that one camera angle that's focused behind the car so you don't have to render the full world. That would look incredible.
Yeah.
Picture this. Echo the Dolphin with Sea of Thieves water effects.
Wow. Ultimus, what do you think about Microsoft and Sega?
I was very surprised actually when I heard about it, but I have the same opinion as I thought about it then. This is still really good, and it's going to lead to more things down the line, as you guys have already stated. That's why I've been very silent. It's just going to lead to more things down the line. It's just great for Xbox because we're going to bring back old games. It's just another great deal. All I can say is it's just another great deal. Xbox just keeps making deals, day after day. I cannot believe it. And it's just going to bring more games for us to enjoy, and that is just the best part. I mean, that's all I can say. You guys have pretty much already gone over almost everything I could think of. You guys have already gone over it. So
one thing I missed off that Jez Corden thing he said, was more collaborations between studios. And one he mentioned was Relic helping out with the next Age of Empires as an example. And that would be incredible because Relic are a great studio.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd really love to see a Halo Wars 3 or something like that from them.
The Halo Wars 2, absolute masterpiece.
Well,
that's one of the best stories.
We got to have the story move on a little bit because Halo Wars 2 leads right up to the events of Halo Infinite, and Halo Infinite says they've got a 10-year plan. So we may be waiting 10 years for Halo Wars 3 unless they jump to another universe.
Well, we know this. We already know they're already working on the next Halo. They're already working on it. 343 is already on their way. So the question is, what it is. What will it be? That's the question.
I'm still not sure where Halo's going to land on the meta. I'm not sure about that one.
You already know what I've said on Twitter. You've already know what I've said.
Hey, since we're talking about collaborations, I would love to see a Gears of War first-person shooter from id Software.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
How crazy
would
that?
Goodness.
You've intrigued me.
You're talking about a Lancer, chainsaw, bayonet. It's all there. You know what I mean? If they're listening, let's make it happen. Sarah called me.
You just made me think of something. So basically, you want Gears, but you basically want it to be first person like Resident Evil.
Yeah, I want Doom, but Marcus Phoenix.
Gotcha.
I gotta see Marcus Phoenix come back in one of these games, man. I'm just dying to play him again.
So, what got you thinking about that, Power? Is it the fact that that Gears of War started Horde mode, and now Doom Eternal is going to have a Horde mode?
Yeah, I was actually looking at it the other day because, like I said, I'm a huge Doom fan. I love the series. I played it in '93 on my computer, 1993. So I was just thinking about that a lot of people talk about Gears and they have the whole Gears, Halo, Forza, and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of go back to, if you think about, like, for instance, God of War. God of War, from God of War 1 through 3, the major titles, and all the other ones had a very similar aesthetic, a very similar pace of gameplay, right? It was like the 2.5D, very linear, and then they came back in 2018 and completely changed the game, similarly to the way Resident Evil did as well, right? Like, Resident Evil was a certain way, then it came back as an FPS, and it started making huge waves. I think that Gears of War has everything in it in the universe to be a really sick FPS and a really scary FPS. You know what I mean? Like being able to see through the eyes of a gear, and maybe it doesn't even have to be Marcus Phoenix, but through the eyes of a gear, being that close to the swarm or the locust or whatever story they decide to tell. And you know the blood splatter and the guts and all the nitty gritty that's really going on, but fast paced. You know what I mean? That we all know that these that it can do. You know what I mean? And they're so good at.
I agree with you totally.
You know,
Totally.
that's
I
what I'm
love
saying.
horde
You
mode.
know, yeah. You know, and even if you go like this big giant arena and they just keep coming at you and you've got three or four of your buddies and you just have to freaking murder them first person for however long, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff is the stuff that I love, and that's why I've always preferred the Xbox platform because of that multiplayer jumping in with buddies. They've always made that like a primary focus, and I've always really enjoyed that. Nothing to take away from single player stories and things of that nature, but I know that that's something that I would enjoy more so even than another full blown single player story. I know Gears has all aspects of it, but just my opinion.
No, I mean, I totally agree with you. I will play horde mode in Doom until I'm blue in the face. I mean, that's a new experience, and I loved playing horde mode. Even if I was just by myself, I would love to see how high I can get in the waves all by myself. I'd find the map, the right place to sit, the right weapons to get, and the right structures to build. And if I could do that in Doom, man, I mean, I would play a lot more Doom than just playing through the story once. I really would. It would add so much replay value. So much. On that note, I have not. Now, don't crucify me. I have not gotten Guardians of the Galaxy yet because I got Forza. Everybody keeps telling me it's so great. I need to play it. And I did. I loved the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I really did. Um, and I will get it. But right now, I have not finished Back for Blood campaign. Far Cry 6 is massive. It is a completionist's nightmare. I've got Forza launching tomorrow for me. I've got Halo December 8th. I will get it. I will play it. But not yet. Got other things that I've already committed to. Gina, have you played it? Are you gonna play it? What do you think about the hype behind this game after Avengers was just the laughing stock of the gaming world for a while?
Yeah, it's crazy to see how well it's reviewing and how hyped people are and saying that it's a must play and what have you. Because, like you said, everyone was really hyped for Avengers, and that game just fell flat on its face. And then this game, nobody was hyped for because of Avengers and how bad that was. And they were expecting maybe an Avengers game with a Guardian skin on top of it. And this one seems to be the game that Avengers should have been, where it's just more focused on story and combat rather than trying to get you to grind and buy stuff.
Yeah.
I am going to buy it. I'm like you. It's not high on my priority list right now because yeah, there's Forza Horizon 5 and then Halo Infinite and all the other games that keep coming to Game Pass in between that I'm trying to get through. So yeah, I do want to play it. It's not a I must play it now game for me because there's just so much other stuff to play. But it looks
Now, I
great.
know one of the things I was thinking about is so you have a different type of hero in Guardians of the Galaxy than you do in the Avengers. In the Avengers, it's really, I mean, they are real superheroes. And a big problem people had with Avengers was that as the Incredible Hulk, you just tossed a bus across a river and yet you got to hit this measly little guard like 30 times to kill him. That was a big problem. But Guardians of the Galaxy, I mean, we're really talking about not human. I mean, they're not all human beings, but they have a more of a skill set than a superpower, and I believe that balances out a whole lot in the Guardians of the Galaxy universe, and it really works well towards gameplay. Again, I'm just speaking from what I've heard and what I've seen. John Blue, have you played it?
Yeah, I've been playing it for the last couple of days. I just got it on Tuesday. So I don't have a lot of time. I think I'm on chapter 4. But what I will say is it's just super polished. The graphics are just unreal, to be honest with you. The colors, the HDR really pops. Textures. Just so far, this might be my game of the year before it's all said and done. It's just really, there's a lot of banter, just really funny. The story's really good. Like it kind of reminds me of Mass Effect in a way, especially when on the Milano, the spaceship. You can go into like different quarters and talk to your team members and look for stuff. And they kind of almost reminds me of, like, in a way, the way God of War had its collectibles, where you could like go off beaten path and collect things and upgrade your skills. And the combat and the gunplay and the way you use the other Guardians is really really cool. It really makes you feel like a superhero. I know it's a superhero game, but Avengers never really didn't feel like a superhero game, right?
No,
you got the Hulk hitting some dude 10 times in the face, and he's still standing. But yeah, it's just it's super fun, and it's just I think it's one of these games where it just like caught everybody by surprise, and I'm kind of surprised the meta is kind of low on it. I think it's only like an 81. The way I would say is, like, if you're a fan, like, it's almost like in a way like a Sony like production, and that's the kind of way, like, super polished, cinematic, over the shoulder. That's kind of how it plays to me. But yeah, I can't heap enough praise upon it.
Referring to that Metascore, I wouldn't be surprised if some reviewers did just kind of write it off as the Avengers version 2 and not really give it the shot.
Critics, I think they go after the publishers, right? And some of the tactics, like even when EA released Jedi Fallen Order, that got just hammered. Like, if you look at the meta on that game, I think it's on like 79, and it should be like way higher than that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just because it's EA and Square Enix, they just like dock them points or what?
Well, you can hear in a lot of these reviews with Guardians, and a lot of people were doing exactly like you said and expecting it to be just like Avengers, right? They were just walking into it like, oh, this is going to be another Avengers game. And then you can almost hear the shock in their voice as they're reviewing it, saying, this is not Avengers. This isn't Avengers at all. This game is right up there in production value and story and characters with, Spider-Man, which is a Sony exclusive.
Yeah, it's damn good.
They make you like the characters. There's like real things that happen between them that like adds to that level of drama, fighting or coming together or losing a teammate and having to battle without them. And there's a lot of things that go beyond that. And I think that the biggest win for them was ditching the game as a service model. In my opinion, superhero games just cannot like translate into that game as a service
unless
model.
It's like an MMO or something, right?
Yeah, the Hulk shouldn't have to hit a guy that's a third of his size 40 times to beat him. It takes the immersion away from it, right? Like, you don't feel like the Hulk, but when you're playing as Star-Lord, you feel like Star-Lord, and you're commanding your team. Each one of your teammates has like 3 or 4 different moves that you can chain together. And then, like you said, with the huddle-ups is like your super move, but you have to hype them up. If you don't hype them up, then it doesn't work. You know what I mean? There's so many little mechanics that's in between that game that add to the depth and the layer, not to mention the underlying story that plays out. Of course, I'm not going to spoil anything for you because I want you to, play it out yourself. But there is a really awesome like space odyssey that happens as you're just learning to become guardians. It takes place right after, like right as you're becoming the guardians and knowing each other. So yeah, there's a lot of surprise there, and a lot of people had a lot of doubts, and I do feel that those meta scores, similar to like Jedi Fallen Order, criminally underrated.
Yeah.
If anybody looks at that meta score and thinks that that's an indication of how good that game is, they are missing out on probably one of the best Star Wars games in 10 years. Easily.
Oh, that's a
You know what I
phenomenal
mean?
game. That's like the best Star Wars game since like who
Easily.
knows when.
I don't
right?
even I don't even like Souls games or that style of game. I beat that game the day it came out. You know what I'm saying? I was not playing around.
Yeah, that's one other thing I can say about the game too is like the characterizations of the characters are based upon is actually really well done. It's almost like I like them more than the movie characters.
And just the banter and the voice acting
Yeah, the
and how you can
banter.
sit around and wait for Gamora to talk crap to Drax and back and forth, or
Like the
Rocket
Rocket and Groot,
and
right?
Star Lord brawling it out, you know what I mean, or whatever. And there's so many little deep surprises. They have all these little outfits that you can run around in different corners and get that are awesome looking. It's just a great game, top to bottom, and I can't give it enough praise because like I've always been a big superhero comic book fan. I still have a bunch of comics underneath my bed as it stands right now. Like I've loved these characters, and I'm telling you right now, like this is a series they could take starting right now and keep moving. And if you make 3 of them, I'd be there day one for all of them.
I just hope they make more sequels to it because that's how good it is.
Well, I think that's what they needed to see. Is they needed to see success. They didn't see people buy. Maybe people need buying it, which is crazy. You start seeing the word of mouth. Like people, when the game was first showcased, remember, everybody was crapping on this game. Everybody was crapping on it. Nobody was wanting, oh, this is Avengers 2.0. I don't want nothing to do with it. Now, by word of mouth, everybody's loving it.
I'd say the marketing was absolutely horrendous for it. Like they didn't really know what to market it for. It seemed like because, I mean, even the last day of the launch trailer, they literally had to put single player game. Like just like people thought it was like the Avengers, right?
Yeah.
You would think that they would blast it, especially after the comments that that Square Enix made about Crystal Dynamics. They basically threw them under the bus and hey,
sure.
we're sorry that they didn't listen. That was their decision. You know what I mean? They're the one that was pushing the games as a service model. They're the ones that wanted to nickel and dime their customers on costumes, and then eventually adding power ups and XP boosters and things like that. That were literally almost, so close to pay to win that you can almost taste it. And they actually sent out a letter and they removed it in a patch yesterday. But these decisions that were made that were not made for Guardians of the Galaxy is what's going to, garner its success going forward.
Ultimus Gaming, what are your thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy? Have you played it?
I have not been able to play it. My backlog is extremely long, and I wrote it off as well after Avengers because I played Avengers and I thought it was somewhat fun, but really it wasn't that great. So when I heard about it, like everybody else, I wrote it off, and I haven't played it. But hearing everybody's reviews, I might play it here soon. Because with how Power Man and them are describing, it seems like a really fun game to me. Because I love single player campaigns. I love getting connected to characters. So that should be great. But Avengers just left such a bad taste in my mouth that I just didn't think about it. And I really wrote off Avengers like in general because after Avengers Endgame, I got really sick of it. So you mix that in with Avengers the game being horrible, just really bad taste. But I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I do. The movies were absolutely amazing. So I think I will here soon enough give it a try. From what they're describing, it seems like a really fun game.
We might even see that on Game Pass before the end of the year. Maybe
Probably.
in January.
Is everything coming to Game Pass?
If they did, I would do a full playthrough, at that point again, even though I own it.
Yeah.
Another thing to mention too is they're going to be bringing ray tracing to that game as well.
Well,
Ray tracing.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Well,
I also
who doesn't
love
love
how-
ray tracing, right?
Yeah, I was just loving how everyone was praising how great the game looked, and then someone, I think it was Digital Foundry, someone did a teardown, and then it was only 1080p, and all of a sudden everyone was complaining how the game was only 1080p. And it's like you had to be told it was 1080p because yesterday you were all saying how great it looked.
No, that's real funny, actually.
Yeah, don't
That
you
was
love
funny.
how people all of a sudden are too good for 1080p 60? Like now console gamers all of a sudden they had to deal with 10, 15 years of sub HD 30 FPS, and now 1080p 60 is just below them. You know, it's crazy.
No, you have to have 4K 30. Remember, you got to have that 4K 30 with ray tracing. Remember, Spider-Man, you have to. That's the only way to play the game.
Ratchet's 4K 40,
But
isn't it?
boys,
Is that the new
I
thing?
hate to dip out on you, but I have to go. I apologize. It's been really fun, but I do have to get out a little bit early. I apologize. But I'll be listening to you guys, and okay.
All right.
No problem, man. Take it easy.
Thanks for
See you,
being
All
here,
right, guys.
Power Man.
Hey, sorry about that. All right, we'll see you.
It's all right.
Take care.
Peace out, brother. So, on that note, this is KY Bob, and I want to be a special host of a special show. I don't want to snap the whip and drive the topics all by myself, so I'm going to bring something new to XBL Party USA, and I want y'all to start thinking about what you want to talk about, because we will have a section in our shows at the end of this one and going from here on out where I want my panelists to bring up something that maybe wasn't on the list, but they want heard, they want talked about. And to me, that's valuable because I'm not the end all be all as far as topics go. So start thinking, guys. You know what's on the topics tonight. What did I forget? PlayStation PC. Boy, I bet the fanboys were cringing when those two words were put together. Oh my goodness. Not only are our games going to PC, we're losing our exclusivity. We're losing our identity. But now you put PlayStation and PC not only in the same sentence, you put it in the same phrase, both words together. So we talked about this in our last episode. Is it going to be an app on the PC where you will find your community, your PlayStation community? Will you launch the games there that you already own? Or is it just going to be a storefront? Ultimus, please, sir, give me your thoughts on what PlayStation PC is.
Well, PlayStation PC to me seems not only an advertising for something for advertising, but it could lead to a PC app potentially. The only thing we have now with PlayStation is the phone app. I have it myself, of course, and it's good. It's really good. It runs well. Yeah, you can find everything. But to have it on PC too, where you can find all the PlayStation games that are coming to PC and everything else, I think that would be really nice. Kind of some of the features that Xbox already does. To give an example, do PlayStation, I can't remember what it's called, communities or whatever it's called, like that. I just can't think of the name of this current second. Basically just kind of like how Xbox does it already. At least that's my idea.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be have their own PC app. That sounds like a lot of work. Like, I think their infrastructure, I don't know if they're really prepared to pull something like that off, like Microsoft can do. They don't really have the resources. But like even in that GeForce, I don't know if you guys seen the leak where it had all the GeForce streaming. I guess some of the games, pretty much every damn game's on that list. So I still think even if they do have a PC app, they're still going to put, make it available on Steam and Epic Game Store and all that other stuff.
Well, that's the biggest thing too, is that even if they don't want to do an app or anything, that's good advertising. It'll be on PC and you'll have PlayStation PC there, we can use it for advertising or stuff like that. Basically, it's just to say this: PlayStation fans, we're sorry, but everything's heading to PC. That's the end of it. We've made a decision.
Like they need to like have a cross buy and like back cloud saves and all that kind of stuff too within it, like Microsoft does. Like
I don't know about that. We've seen a lot of issues with transferring our saves between PS4 and PS5.
You're right. They didn't even know how to do a name change, did they?
And again, go back and watch the first episode. KY Bob will hold your hand and walk you through this. As Xbox fans, we have been in this glorious ecosystem where Xbox and PC meet in the middle for 20 years. It's glorious. Get used to it. Jenna, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be just games going to PC and they're going to market it under this new moniker. I mean, they bought a studio that specializes in porting games. They didn't buy them just so they could, have them sit around doing nothing. I think, yeah, like someone else said, I don't think it's going to go Xbox where you buy one copy and then you get it on PC and on PlayStation. I think Sony like money too much. They know people will buy it separately on both, so they'll just charge you twice for the same game. One of the things I find interesting about it all was the God of War. When they announced that's going, it's got full DualSense features, better frame rate, high-res textures. It's having basically everything that these Game of the Year editions or remasters that they charge $70 for on console is getting, and it's only $50.
Ooh.
But
hold on, Jenna. Hold on. You DualSense on your PC?
Yeah, they've confirmed if you plug it in, it'll have full DualSense PS5. Yeah.
So the hardware is not sacred anymore either.
No. Oh. But that's what's funny. Like there's a lot of people laughing online saying, "I can't believe PC players are going to pay $50 for this." But if they'd have made the same upgrades, they even put it on PS5, they would have paid $70 for it if they called it Game of the Year. So it's just, yeah. I think it's a weird time for PlayStation fans because one thing they've always clung to is their exclusives and how, well, literally exclusive they were. They could only get them on a PlayStation console, but I think that's changing. They've been doing interviews recently where they say that console gaming's too niche. There's no room to grow. They've been saying it for a couple of years now. Console sales no longer matter. The head of Sony said it's all about player base and reaching more players, and we're better than PC.
That's where the profits are.
Rough the last couple of months for the Sony guys up there.
Well, that's because they've been they need to be quiet. They need to shut their mouths on this stuff because they keep putting their foot in their mouth when they say this stuff. Like, what is negative about bringing games to PC? Nothing. Let's just not make them buy a console. Let's let them use the hardware that they love. There are a lot of PC players out there who just want to play on their PC. Let's give them the option to just play the games on their PC. Let's not make them buy a console. That's ridiculous. Just let them use their PC. A lot of people got a lot of good setups out there. They want to use them.
Yeah, another thing too I seen was like, I don't know if you guys saw this, but like some of the games that you'd think would be longer away, like for PC, like God of War Ragnarok, and I know for a fact like Horizon Forbidden West is all slated to be dropped within 6 months after release. Like I think that's coming in September next year.
Again, we're not here to rip Sony.
Death Stranding was only 7 months, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think they get a bit quicker with it. But yeah, I think Horizon won't be far behind because they've released the first one already, haven't they, on PC?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think the second one will do the same. 6-7 months later, that'll drop as well. And it's just to make it closer and closer.
Is like 2023 day-and-date games.
Wow.
Not that it matters. It's only good for the consumer, right? That more options.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to give the consumer more options because then they have more of a reason to buy. Let's think about it. Another thing is that console players can still have their console, PC players can have their PC, but they can buy the game on the PC. They can buy it for their PlayStation. There's more profit there. There's nothing wrong with it. It's more profitability, and it's just smart. That's all it is.
The only trouble comes where if they do start doing day and date, is trying to charge $70 on a console, because they won't charge 70 on Steam.
They'll charge 60.
Yeah. Do you guys think that maybe the reason why they're doing this move is maybe they're worried that Microsoft might be like taking in maybe on the PC, like taking over the PC market?
Well, they already have in their own way.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to think about it. They went straight to PC faster. They have already brought games over day one, and they're showing that there's a lot of profit in that. Not even that, with Game Pass on PC, a lot of people are going to get Game Pass for their PC. They're going to be spending money and all that. I mean,
Just some of the moves.
It's a no-brainer.
It just seems like such a rush thing that they're kind of just like going all in all of a sudden, right? Like before, it was like kind of like trepidation about it.
Well, I keep saying it that Xbox and PC, I mean, I'm sorry, but what runs our PCs? Microsoft.
Windows 10 or 11.
Exactly. The Windows Core, the DirectX.
Yep.
And that's why the Xbox was supposed to be called the Direct Xbox in 2000, but that was just didn't flow, so they cut the direct part off of it.
Yeah.
It's just, and again, we're not here to rip Sony. We're here to rip these crazy plastic warriors that think this is a big deal because their sacred ground has been tarnished. We're here for the gamers, and this is great for the gamers. Get it? I mean, that's just the way it is.
And also, it's great for people who can't maybe find a PS5, right? Because they're hard to find.
Exactly.
But not only that, but I mean, I'm still rocking my PS4, and from what I've seen already, I'm going to be able to play the new Horizon on my PS4. I'm going to be able to play the new God of War on my PS4. They've got 130 million consoles out there that fan base, they are not going to cut it off if they want to sell.
I think guessing is the way they lied
smart
about this generation thing, right? Like, I don't know why they weren't more upfront about that.
That was a big mistake on their part. They should never have said that.
I think they saw the heat Xbox was taking, and they're just like, you know what? We're just going to stay quiet on that for now.
Well, it's smart to continue to bring games to the last generation because it's exactly what we've done year after year. Why did Halo 4 go to the Xbox 360 instead of the Xbox One at launch like it was planned? Because there were more Xbox 360s. You could sell more copies. So it was going to happen on both platforms. So there was they should never have said that. They should have never said that.
The problem is they can get away with saying it, can't they? Like the fan base, the hardcore who defend them over anything, first of all was saying, well, we're getting these exclusives, it's great. And then as soon as it was said, well, actually, no, we're going to take the same approach as Microsoft, it was, yeah, it makes great business sense. You can't leave all those Xboxes, right? But PlayStation's behind. And the same with this PC. They were clinging to it's always the best thing we have is we have our exclusives, and now they're going to the PC as well. It makes great business sense. So the thing I keep hearing, double dip strategy, it makes sense. Saturate one market, move to the next. Like they've all got business degrees all of a sudden.
Well, it's still technically exclusive. I don't understand why they say that. It's exclusive to their console.
These people,
so it's still technically console exclusive. But I get attacked for this all the time. It's still console exclusivity. It's on that only that console. So no, they're not losing exclusivity. But when the media and everybody else says it, then I guess it's fact that it's not exclusive.
Like next year, I'll be getting a PS5 because I didn't have a PS4. I hated my PS3, so I skipped the PS4 generation. But I'll be getting a PS5 and catching up on all the games I missed because I used to like PC gaming. I used to play a lot of Total War and the like I said, Company of Heroes and stuff like that, and that was kind of my thing. But now I don't do PC gaming much anymore, so I like having my consoles, and I will get one. But same with Xbox and Sony. If they're doing something stupid, I'll call them out today. I'm not going to lie and die on a hill about this plastic box and defend this company as far as I can.
And we're not going to avoid their victories either, because PlayStation still has a lot of great things. They've had great games at the beginning of this generation. I mean, I played Ratchet and Clank. That is a great game. It's fun. It's funny. It's a great game, and it's visually pleasing, very visually pleasing. So I'm not going to say it's not. I'm not going to act like, oh, it's on PlayStation bad. No, it's a great game. I played Spider-Man. That is also a really visually pleasing game, and they're both very fun. PlayStation does have great games, and Xbox does too.
A shout out to Shizvane in the chat saying that they learned something new today. Direct Xbox. Yes, that is true. Microsoft wanted to bring the PC into the living room of consumers, and DirectX is Windows Multimedia API, and so they wanted to call it the Direct Xbox. Wow, that doesn't flow for shit, does it?
Oh, I could
I
see
don't
the
know if you heard,
advertising
like-
now. I could see the advertising.
Like the story behind that with like the Seamus Blackley, when he was in the room, they were pitching it to Xbox. Like the whole, I don't know if you heard the story why it's green, like why the Xbox the color's green.
Yes, because all they had were green markers, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Oh, that's the story? I didn't know that. I didn't know that, actually. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Oh, that's great. See, we're here for educational purposes too. That's right. Okay, so state of decay, or should I say state of play, or state of delay. I've seen so many monikers, but the monikers are there because it was a huge disappointment. There were a lot of people going to bat on this state of play was going to be the answer for what we've seen from Halo Infinite, and they were going to drop some gameplay, some trailers, and basically from state of play, all we got was a lot of games that looks like going to keep our children busy while we're partying for the holidays. Pretty much. I mean, I'm not going to play any of that. Oh, Gina, did you watch State of Play?
I caught some bits of it after the fact because I quite like a lot of indie games, and even I didn't want to play the vast majority of what they showed. So that shows you how bad some of the stuff was that was shown. The last game they showed, the one that got a lot of heat because everyone thought they were going to close with one of the big guns. I actually quite like the look of that one. That's something I would play, but yeah, it's just a boring, wasn't it? There's no way to describe that show other than just like I know it's only 20.
I mean,
was it 20 odd
if
minutes?
I didn't know it already and I was watching that, for the most part, I wouldn't think I was watching a Sony show because nothing reminded me of that. And wow, I was just Ultimus. I know I've been rounding you up last in the rotation. What did you think of State of Play?
I thought for what it was, if they shouldn't have called it a state of play. If they said, I would have been fine with, we're just showing off some indie games. I mean, that's it. We're showing off some kids games. I would have been fine with that. That wasn't a state of play. That wasn't anything. That was boring. Some of the games were kind of cool, but really, it was disappointing. And as I said myself, a lot of people were expecting big third-party deals in that. No, there wasn't anything that interesting. I mean, how many games were there? 4 that they showed off in like 30 minutes. I mean, that's just, you know what? Kudos to the developers. I'm glad they're making their games. I love it when indie developers make games, but that was just disappointing. That's the only word I could think of.
Yeah, because right now with what's going on in the gaming landscape, you've got the IPs, the big IPs that Sony is being recognized for and that people are looking forward to. And then you've got the big IPs and releases for Xbox that people are looking forward to. And right now, Xbox is the only one throwing punches. We've gotten more than we wanted or expected from Forza Horizon. We are getting tidbits leading up to, we're finding out more information every week about Halo Infinite. And I can't tell you the last time I heard anything about Ragnarok or anything that I didn't already know about Forbidden West. And I think that's
one thing I just want to mention
shame.
real quick. Sorry. I just want to mention real quick is that this is basically Xbox had a really slow beginning of the generation. We didn't have a lot going on, and I'll admit that. Sony did. They had a lot of great games releasing at launch, and that was great selling point. But now there's nothing. Now Xbox has everything that they've been working on ready to go, showing off. We got games we know are coming out soon, and some that aren't even announced are coming out soon. So now that Xbox is pushing forward all the games they said that they've been working on, this is now Xbox time to shine, while PlayStation just doesn't have anything to show right now.
Well, they've been building towards this since their falter in 2013. Yeah, they've been putting this together. Phil Spencer, who took over Xbox in 2013, he's been working towards this, and we all really didn't realize how big of a transformation it was going to be until we got closer to the One X release. And I think it was that E3 where they first unveiled the One X, and they first unveiled the specs of the One X and showed us the Scorpion edition, that we really got our first glimpse of, wow, this is going to be huge. And that was 4 years ago, and here we are, and everything is coming to fruition. And it's just amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a great time to be a gamer. Go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, like, really with Forza, it's just really where it's going to kick off now, from like just a mountain of games for Game Pass. It's just, there's not going to be any stopping this train anytime soon.
It's just going to keep chugging along.
Yeah. Just, they got AAAs, they got AA, they got indie, they got every damn game you can think of coming. Every genre.
And it's funny to think that we had to take a horrible last generation, and I'll say horrible because that's the right word, to reach a point where Xbox is the best it's ever been in a very long time. I think it was in its own way kind of worth it to have a bad generation, to have one of the best generations we've had.
Did they say the plan now is to have a AAA release every quarter?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they said, yeah.
And you think as well they're going to be so they're going to probably have a first party game every quarter. Now they've got enough studios for it now, and then they'll probably keep doing these third party deals like State of Decay. Got me saying that now. Back for Blood and Outriders. So it's going to be every month or every other month. There's going to be a huge AAA game, and then all the great, indie games that they stick on as well, just ticking over. It's the last 2 months. There's been too many games. That's my only criticism of Game Pass, which is mad. There's too many games.
Backlog's too long. I mean, way too long now.
Another thing to think about is like the global publishing. They've really been getting a lot of funding. They're getting some big titles too, not just their first party output. Like there's some of those code names. I don't know them all, but there's one with the dragon is called with IO Interactive, and I think one's Index is called. There's a bunch of them. Jez Chord's got them on Windows Central there.
The one's called Shaolin, isn't it?
Yeah, Shaolin. That's supposed to be a Wu-Tang game.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them.
Oh, there's so many games. I'm actually kind of glad you brought that up, because one thing I forgot to you just made me think of, is that Xbox is working with a lot of third-party developers to see if they want to continue working with them and even buy them. Best example would be IO Interactive, one of my favorite studios. I love the Hitman series. I mean, if just to give you an idea, if they bought IO Interactive, just think of what a new IP they could make with that studio if they theoretically bought them. I mean,
they're working on 007 game right now too. IO Interactive.
I mean, they're a great studio. They're a really great studio.
Oh yeah, phenomenal studio.
So what we're not getting, and people keep wanting to compare PS Plus to Xbox Gold. Well, I'll give you an example. I'll give you a comparison. Why don't you compare Game Pass to PS Now? Who's got the bigger L?
Night and day right there.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yes, there are better games in PS Plus than there are in Gold. And that's because I think that the really good games are just going straight to Game Pass. And if you look at it's been so long. I'm going to be honest with everybody. It's been so long since I even looked. Is it still $9.99 for Xbox Live Gold and then $14.99? So it's only $5 difference if you've got Gold than if you have Game Pass Ultimate.
Yes, they haven't changed that.
Okay, so $5. I mean, and what you get is enormous. Oh my goodness, it's crazy.
Yeah, the Gold, I haven't really paid too much attention to Gold. It's been so bad that I just stopped looking at it.
No, there's a pro.
Yeah.
There's a pro. We got Lego Batman 2. There's a pro there. We got the best. We got one of the best games.
Okay, yeah, like I said, I'm just so focused on Game Pass at this point that I don't really look at the Gold anymore.
I like the Lego Batman games, but I already owned that one, so
Yeah,
it didn't
me
do
too.
anything
I
for
own
me.
most of the stuff they put on there, but it's mostly like smaller indie games, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some little games here and there. Truly, what happened is this. Once Game Pass became so successful, they just didn't put a lot of effort towards Gold. And I think Gold should just be shut down. I think they need to just stop with Gold. Because really, I think it's smart. You have both options, but really everyone uses Game Pass Ultimate. It's just a better value. And Game Pass just gives you so much. I remember when Game Pass first started, and it wasn't that great. I'll admit that. When Game Pass first started, it wasn't that great. I remember it. But over time, it's become one of the best services ever. It's just so much.
Did you see the Game Pass lineup like this month? Like, it's insane.
GTA San Andreas and all. I mean, that.
It Takes Two, Forza Horizon 5. There's a bunch of other stuff in there too that look pretty good.
Yeah, you gotta play It Takes Two with me, John. You may gotta do that.
Yeah, It Takes Two. Yeah, I haven't played it yet. It's pretty good too.
A big one for the UK coming to Game Pass is
Football Manager.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if you realize how big that game is over here, but there was a time where that game used to be quoted in divorce settlements as some of the reasons for divorces. Like people
goodness.
And that's genuine as well. You can find news stories about it and everything where some people just get so addicted to that game they end up getting divorced.
That's the Sega game too, Football Manager.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And it's not coming to PlayStation at all. It's not even been announced for the platform.
Oh, I'm sure that Fortnite and Call of Duty is in some divorce settlements too. There's reasons.
Not Vanguard. No one's gonna be playing that.
No, not Vanguard.
No, that
campaign looks pretty cool, but yeah.
Campaign looks pretty cool, but I played it. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. I mean, I'm really getting tired of it. One thing that I don't want to buy it for the reason is they lock content behind one of the platforms and then expect me to pay the exact same amount and not get that content for a year. That is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That is not fair.
Now, you all remember before the failed Xbox One generation, those Call of Duty exclusive contents for the first year were on Xbox, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't as big as an entire game mode, or correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, they have 30-day access to maps. Like, I think they stopped doing that in like 2014 or 2015. I think Advanced War was the last game they had marketing for.
To this day, can you still not play the moon level on Destiny on Xbox?
I think it was 2 years, and after that, it released on Xbox.
Yeah, but by that time, they already had Destiny 2 out, so who cared?
That's it, right? And they can't transfer anything over to Destiny 2 as well.
Oh, well.
I really hate that. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah. Oh, well. So.
Oh, well, it's Call of Duty. Moving on.
Is anybody got any topics they want to talk about? Yes, no, maybe so.
The only thing I've seen disturbing this week on Twitter was, I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, that reviewer for IGN trying to play a new Halo map.
Oh,
It is. Oh, I lost sleep over that. It's painful.
Oh,
this brings me back to Cuphead.
Yeah, it's like that, but
right there.
worse. It's just like,
It was. Go ahead.
yeah, it's just painful. It's so hard to watch. There was, funny enough, there was a Call of Duty video the other day where some rapper, Little John or something, was on there, and he was clearly baked out of his mind because he couldn't keep his eyes open, and he was shooting at things that weren't even on the screen and going, I got him, and then they end up cutting away from him whilst he's playing because
Oh
like
Lord.
whenever an enemy comes near him, he doesn't see him and just starts shooting scenery and saying to his team, I got him, he's down and stuff. And this is worse. This is harder to watch than that. It's just
I
painful.
watched some of it. I couldn't watch all of it because it was just disturbing, as you said. The way they were walking around the map, it's oh Lord, that was really hard to watch. And it brings me right back to the Cuphead situation. We remember the IGN review of Cuphead. We remember the gameplay. Took the man 10 minutes to do the jump.
you know, that's a question right there. Thank you, Shiz Vane in the chat. So when are we getting Cuphead on Netflix?
I don't know if you guys
Oh,
seen it.
goodness.
Netflix launched their own game service this week. Didn't look too good, but at least it's out there.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of any of those games. None of them. They
how
just
to
seem
download them?
generic.
Yeah.
Can only play it on Android anyway. So even Apple, it's the same. It's because Apple is just blocking all that.
They said it's coming to Apple, but yeah, who knows? how
Yeah,
long.
but they gotta do a loophole because of the Apple's rules, which are absolutely ridiculous, about how you can't have a streaming app like this, so we have to go through and review all of it. It's a streaming service to stream games. You don't do that with Netflix. If you did that, half the stuff on Netflix wouldn't be on there.
It's they want to control monetization on everything, it seems like.
Well,
And
luckily,
Shiz Vane, I did not finish Cuphead. If I thought if I tried to finish Cuphead, I would have committed Harry Carey.
I beat it. I love that game. That was one of my favorite games on the Xbox One.
It made me so frustrated, man. I went through 2 controllers. Good thing they were old
That
controllers.
dragon boss fight that took me like 2 days to beat. Like the third last boss, the dragon one, when you're in the clouds jumping around, that was hard. The devil wasn't even as hard as that boss for me.
It was like a side-scrolling Dark Souls game. God.
Yeah, pretty much. I love indie games also. Like, I know like Death's Door was one of my favorite games this year.
Yes, that's my game of the year so far.
Yeah,
that game's incredible.
Amazing.
That and Psychonauts 2 is between those two. I can't quite decide.
Psychonauts 2 would be my game of the year right now.
Psychonauts was really good. They did a really good job with that game. Basically, I've used this wording a lot. Psychonauts is Xbox's Ratchet and Clank. The game was really fun. The story was great. I really enjoyed Psychonauts 2, but I don't think I need to see the rest. I need to see the rest of the games coming out to really decide my game of the year. I haven't chosen one yet.
Yeah, Psychonauts 2 was it really took me back to the story. I was kind of surprised just how good that was.
Yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia people were talking about.
A lot of deep things in that story too, like just meanings and stuff behind it, right?
Yeah, there's that great game, truly a great game.
As always, Jack Black was excellent in there.
Oh yeah, he was awesome in that role.
When him and Tim Schafer get together, it's incredible. They need to do it more often.
It's gold.
They did a lot of they documented all of that too.
That reminds me. So Chris Pratt is going to be Mr. Chief, huh?
I don't know how I feel about
fun.
That. I didn't read that right when that first dropped. I was like, "What? See what?"
I did and didn't. I didn't. There's a mixture of both. I thought it was kind of funny though. I thought that was pretty funny for what it was. But that actually reminds me of an article. That reminds me of an article we were reading that originally, and I think this is why a lot of people got fired, was a 343 intended to change the voice actors for Halo Infinite. They didn't want to stick with the regular Master Chief, Steve Downes, and Cortana. I think there's a reason why a head got fired and a lot of changes happened to the studio. They
Two
just got
studio heads got shifted off that.
shifted off, and that I mean, that poor game needed a leader. I think that's why, and I remember I wanted to bring this up, but I wanted to lead to it. Was having, oh Lord, I just lost his name.
Staten, is it?
Joseph Staten, thank you. I had it and I completely lost it. Having Joseph Staten come in and work on it, I think that was the best decision. Although 343 had already gotten through that period, but having Joseph Staten come in and I think it was 2018 and work with 343. I mean, the first day on the job, he played the game. That's what they wanted him to do. They wanted him to play the game. They wanted to see what he thought, and I think that was a great decision because I know I can tell there's been some changes made that were a result of what he said, a result of what he was thinking. They said that there were some changes made from map layout to some gameplay things here and there that were what he said, and I like that. I really like that they brought back him to make some of those changes.
One thing that I was a little worried about Halo is the open world. I'm just worried that maybe the game is just like, I don't want it to be like this open massive thing where like there's nothing to do, where it's just bogged down with like activities to go here to outpost there, do that kind of stuff.
We don't want another Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
And it's not that I don't want to play that.
You shut your mouth. Assassin's Creed Odyssey was amazing.
It's one of my number one. I have 100 hours on it, KY.
That's what I'm worried about, is if it's this super long, like it's supposed to be a short, like not short, but like concise, campaign.
Yeah, we don't want, you don't want to boggle
and
it
it's
down.
not like I'm not super worried, but it's like more about like the reviewers. You're already kind of hearing him and Han about, how big is this open world, or we're like, we don't want it to be Far Cry. We don't want to do this and that,
I don't think 343 was going for that, and please cut me off whenever. I know I've been talking a lot. I think 343 understands that almost immediately. And that's why I don't think it's boggled down as much as we saw when we saw this with the campaign showcase. There were a few points on the map and all that, but it didn't seem like it was stuffed full of things.
Yeah, it seemed really cool. And then like I'm hoping it's more like Metro Exodus, where you have like this open hubbed area, and like for each level, you know what I mean?
I think it's something like that. I like the wording they used for it. They said it's open world, but it's not open world.
Yeah,
it's that wording, because it's kind of like that, because it's not 100% open world.
They're showing all the different things you can do with like the targets and like activities and story beats and all that kind of stuff, and then you got all the weapons, and it just seems like a big space. It's like, well, it was reimagined from CE, right? So it's going to be a bigger map.
And that was something I absolutely loved when I saw it. I love seeing Cortana being purple again. That was the first thing I immediately loved, was her being back to her old colors. I really loved that. It's just supposed to be a nostalgia train, pretty much. It's just
they're holding it close to the chest still, right?
And that voice actor, the original voice actor for Cortana, is involved in development for Halo Infinite.
Oh, that's Jen Taylor, right?
Yeah.
She's amazing. Speaking of weapons, as you brought up before, let's talk about the weapon.
The weapon, yeah.
She's
that's also Jen Taylor's voice. The weapon.
Yes. She did amazing voice. She's doing amazing voice acting, though. I mean, I have to give her that one. That is, her voice acting is spot on.
You can't tell, right?
You can't tell. You can't tell at all.
Characters.
So what you're saying is she's really not a misled teen that doesn't know much about life or the world.
Yeah, basically she's like almost like a teenager, I guess you would kind of.
I think the best word that people kept using was naive.
Naive, yeah.
I think it was that, but we also got to think about it this way. She was made pretty recently.
She's new.
She's pretty new, and I think that I know Halo Cannon brought this up, and he kept talking about it. Maybe they did make her a bit more naive on purpose, just because they want to prevent a Cortana problem.
Did you watch the Destin interview like I do with Halo Cannon?
Of course.
Yeah.
So just, I mean, but I can't really judge it right now because I really need to play it myself. I mean, I'm just going off of what we've seen. I need to play it myself to really know what she is. Maybe as we go down the line, she gets smarter and she understands things better. Maybe that's how it goes. We don't know because we just have to find out when we play
even
it.
like I think some of the things she's saying are like actual literal things. Like she really doesn't know what Cortana did was so wrong, right?
I that really made me emotional. That really did. Just when she said that, she is an adorable character. I'll just say that she's adorable. She's I think it's going to be both fun and annoying. To give you the best idea, both fun and annoying.
I
But
can see that.
she is adorable. But the,
I want to know.
I
who
just
the
got to see.
pilot
We
is.
just got to play it. We just got to see.
The pilot still doesn't have a name.
At least at least we got to see him a little bit. He's looking a little bit more high res than when we last saw him. It's a little bit more high res.
Facial animations are better.
So as we've already talked about, I love Horde mode, and I would love to see Halo's Horde mode, known as Firefight.
Yes, sir.
Please make a return. Please, please. We got massive worlds. We got going to have big battlegrounds. Give me a structure to defend against waves and waves of banished and covenant. Please, please give it to me. But I haven't heard anything about it. So
we got to keep. That's the thing. Maybe they're hiding it, and if they don't, we as a community need to speak out on this. If they don't have it at launch, again, they're keeping a lot of things to their chest. They're keeping a lot of things close. They don't want to say a lot. Yeah. They really want to surprise us at launch.
There's going to be a lot. I think they're going to show more stuff on this anniversary for Halo. More stuff like.
Oh, you just made me think of something. I'm glad you made me talk about that. Let's talk about. I want to. If there's anything left to say first before I try to switch it over.
The only thing I was going to say about 343 that's left to say is Bonnie Ross. Do you think that she's gone after the game launches and then Staten takes over, or is she even still really in charge there? Is she just kind of her name's on the door, but people have taken over now and kind of making decisions for her?
That's.
She's been on that. I know she's worked for a lot of years with Microsoft. I think since Phil's been there, she's been there forever.
Yes.
Yeah, she always used to be front and center, everything Halo, but since that unveil, I haven't seen her do a single interview, be on video. It's all other people now. The main focus has gone in a completely different direction.
Or Joseph Staten, who seems to be
she built the studio, right? 343.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I want to give another shout out to Shiz Vane in the chat asking about Red versus Blue, and I'm gonna turn my camera on here real quick. Yes, as a matter of fact, Shiz Vane, I have got the first 3 seasons of Red versus Blue signed by the voice actors of Simmons and Sarge at Comic-Con. Yes, I do.
That's sweet.
Red versus Blue was amazing. Oh, I wish they'd have kept it going.
The community will never forget that. I'll say that one. We'll never forget it. I think with that, I think basically it's kind of, I think with that, what you're talking about is kind of like what Phil did. He kind of wanted the developers to speak more than executives. And that's exactly what happened. We started seeing a lot more things from developers and all that. And that's what's happening here. 343 isn't really talking a lot about, to those people, more or less, we're talking more about campaign narrative writers. We're talking to head developers. We're talking to, these people instead of that. So, I mean, I think it's both good and bad. It's a mixture. I want to see what you guys say, though.
I think it's like, as far as leadership goes, definitely a lot to be desired, right? With so many studio heads, or not studio heads, but like directors, I guess, leaving.
Yeah, that. So, I wasn't really too worried about that. I'm actually kind of happy about that because they were trying to find the right person. Because we know that Halo Infinite's development has been shifted around. We know there's been a lot of changes.
The original gameplay should have never been released, right? Like last year's. It was rough.
Yeah, 2020's was rough. And even this developer said that it was never supposed to be seen that way, but it was just a mistake. And Craig is going to become the biggest the biggest thing in the community for years to come because I love Craig. That I thought that was absolutely hilarious when that came out, and now Craig is looking better than ever. So.
Another thing is, ever since, so I mean, Microsoft's kind of walking around with their head held high. Ever since the Series X has come out, they've really, from the fridge to Craig, they've embraced all of these criticisms, and it's been awesome. I mean, I really got to hand it to them. It's been amazing.
It's like the Twitter accounts, like Xbox and memes and all that kind of stuff they've been doing.
Oh yeah.
I still can't believe that they actually made the fridge. I love that so much.
Funniest one I thought was when like the Series S got leaked.
Oh, that was a great night.
And they had that meme with like the monkey, kind of like the side-eyed thing.
Oh yes, that was awesome. Yeah, I remember the community that night was just going off. Everyone was so excited about it because it is awesome. And the fact that it got leaked and Xbox was just like, oh well, let's just announce it. That was just amazing.
Great.
And I'm gonna have one of them fridges too, just as soon as all the bots and the scalpers, as soon as their closets are full and they can't buy anymore, I'm gonna get one.
I think I am too, my friend. I can't. I mean, I think that'd be kind of nice. You just have a picture of your fridge to the left, and you have your Xbox to the right. That'd be amazing.
And I'm going to use it too. I'm not just going to use it for art. I'm going to keep monsters in there or a 6-pack or something. Come on.
Use the USB charger on the front.
Yeah, that's another USB charger on my desk. Hell yeah.
That's cool that they added that in. That is really cool.
I wonder if the mini fridge makes the Xbox sound when you open the door like the big one did.
That would just be. Or am I wrong?
I don't know. I haven't seen a demo of the mini fridge.
Nobody even was able to get one. Like they were gone in like seconds.
Yeah.
But
apparently,
that's good though. That's
I heard that they allocate a lot of like stock for like the holidays, like directly in the stores.
Yes, I know that they're trying to push a lot more stock to physical in-person sales, which is the smartest thing to do. I understand that with COVID and everything else, a year ago they had to make a decision. They had to have everything online, and that was smart. That is fine. But now it's more applicable for people to go into a store, especially here in the U.S., to go into a store and buy a console. And it's safer and easy. It's easier for them to get a hold of it, and it's less likely for scalpers to get a hold of it that way than it would be online. So I'm glad that they're looking in that direction.
Yeah, it's harder for a scalper to physically walk out of a store with 100 Xboxes under his arm.
Exactly. They can't. I haven't seen a person make 100 clones of themselves and go in. I haven't seen that yet. So, it's that kind of thing.
All right, guys. Well, hour and a half in. I think it's time to wrap it. It's been a great show. Please, again, I can't stress it enough. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Xbox Live Party Podcast. We are an infant channel and we are growing quickly. We've got 2 podcasts now. We've got many indie reviews. And we've got a new website now, don't we, Gina?
We do, apparently. Yeah, this was sprung on me yesterday. I chose the most photogenic photo of myself I could to stick on there. I'm dazzling, I would say. So yeah, check it out.
And I'm pushing for some merchandise too. I want to partner with Teespring. I want everybody who's a fan of the channel to have a T-shirt where, if you remember that very first Xbox Live ad where the baby is being shot out during birth, being held, the umbilical cord is a headset cable. I want that on a shirt. That has gotta happen.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
But now I've given I've given the my channel support plea. The Jenna. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter quite a lot. I'm at the Ginner Gaming because somehow I must have had the Ginner before and locked myself out of it. YouTube, I'm on XBL Party Podcast with you guys on a Saturday. I'm going to join this show occasionally when I got a Friday off because it's been really fun. And yeah, I'm on YouTube you can find me under the Ginner Gaming as well. And yeah, I just do some reviews and a really stupid fun show called Gaming Room 101, which I host every other Tuesday. And I'll have to get you on for an episode of that at some point. It's just, it's
I was trying to think of what the name of the show was when I said we've got 2 podcasts and we've got a bunch of reviews, and then I drew a blank. Gaming Room 101. That's what it is. Yes.
Yeah. It's because there's a Brit. I'm not sure if it's out in America. There's a British show called Room 101 where you think of something that you dislike in society, and then you pull a lever, and you imagine it's disappeared forever, and you've cured the world of that problem, and it's that, but gaming related.
Oh wow, I'm sorry. I got distracted. I was reading Shizvane's chat. There's a Microsoft campus near them. I attend as many conferences as I could before COVID shut down. Got a private tour of their unopened building. They had two HoloLens AIs that can scan food, and students get discounts on games. What?
I want to live there.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I want to live there. Oh my goodness.
I think I mentioned to you before, Bob, they're building an Azure data center in the fact, like literally within a couple of 100 meters of where I live.
Yeah.
So
you
my
did mention
connection, my connection's going to be excellent soon. I can't wait.
Oh, all right. Well, enough about making me jealous. Ultimus, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Ultimus Gaming. If you look up just Ultimus, you probably should be able to find me. I'm always on Twitter, as KY Bob knows, and I'm pretty much always there. I try to talk to the community as much as I can. If you just message me, I will always talk. I will always talk back.
All right, John Blue, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at jboss293. Trying to talk some common sense on there. It's kind of hard sometimes. But yeah, I just want to say thanks for having me on, and it's awesome to talk to you guys. Nice talking to you, Gina, for the first time.
Yeah,
it's great to finally chat to you guys. I know I've messaged you on Discord and on Twitter, but yeah.
If you didn't know, saying the Jenna in the UK is the same as saying the Ginger here in the States. And he is.
Oh,
okay. Got a beautiful, beautiful head of red hair.
If it wasn't nearly 3:00 in the morning, I'd turn my camera on to show you how beautiful it is, but I look very tired.
I don't think it's beautiful right now.
No, exactly.
All right, folks. Well, we will be back here again next Thursday at 9 p.m. Thank you, everybody who tuned in for the show. Remember, support our channel. Help us grow. Please help us grow. And
Shizvan,
good night, everybody.
One thing real quick, Shizvan, can I have a t-shirt? All right, good night, y'all.
Good night, everybody.
Peace.
Wow.